Listen closely, because this message is not random, and it did not arrive by accident. Something has been weighing on your heart, something you've been trying to understand. You've felt a shift. Conversations don't feel the same. Certain people who once felt close now feel distant, colder, or suddenly absent. You may have questioned yourself, wondering if you did something wrong, if you failed, if you should chase, explain, apologize, or hold on tighter. But hear this clearly and let it settle deep within you: God is removing them from your life on purpose. And this is not punishment. This is protection. This is preparation. This is love working in a way that may feel painful now but will make sense later. There are seasons when God adds people to your life, and there are seasons when God removes them. Both are sacred. Both are intentional. When God removes someone, it is not because you are unworthy of love, connection, or loyalty. It is because where He is taking you, certain people cannot follow. Some were meant to walk with you for a chapter, not the whole book. Some were meant to teach you something, awaken something, or reveal something within you, and once that purpose was fulfilled, the connection could not remain without harming your future. You might be holding on because it feels familiar. You might be holding on because of history, memories, promises, or hope that things will return to how they used to be. But God is asking you not to ignore what He is doing. When doors close without you forcing them shut, when communication breaks down no matter how much effort you put in, when peace disappears where it once lived, these are not coincidences. These are divine signals. God does not always announce removal with loud signs. Often, He removes gently, quietly, through distance, discomfort, or disappointment, because He knows how attached your heart can be. Sometimes God removes people because they are draining you. You were created to love, not to be exhausted by constant confusion, emotional imbalance, or one-sided effort. You were not designed to beg for clarity, respect, or consistency. If someone continually brings chaos into your spirit, God may step in where you refuse to. Not to hurt you, but to save you from slowly losing yourself while trying to keep someone else. There are people who are comfortable with the old version of you but threatened by the growth God is bringing into your life. As you evolve, heal, and become more aligned with your purpose, not everyone will celebrate that. Some will resist it. Some will misunderstand it. Some will try to pull you back into patterns God already freed you from. God removes those people not because they are evil, but because they are incompatible with the future He has planned for you. You may not see it now, but there are conversations you will not have to endure anymore, wounds you will not have to reopen, cycles you will not have to repeat. What feels like loss today will become relief tomorrow. God sees the emotional toll you don't talk about. He sees the nights you overthink, the prayers you whisper quietly, the strength you pretend to have while your heart feels tired. He knows exactly how much you've tried. Sometimes God removes people because they are blocking blessings meant to reach you. Not intentionally, but spiritually. Their presence keeps you stuck in doubt, fear, or dependency, when God is calling you into confidence, faith, and independence. You cannot step fully into what God is preparing if you are constantly looking back at who He is asking you to release. This removal may feel sudden, but it is not reckless. God does nothing without foresight. He already knows who will replace what is leaving. He already knows how He will comfort you, restore you, and strengthen you. You are not being left empty, you are being made available. Available for healthier connections. Available for peace. Available for alignment. Available for a version of life that does not require you to shrink or suffer to belong. You may be tempted to reach out, to reopen doors God has clearly shut. Be careful. Every closed door is not rejection, many are redirection. Trust that if God removed them, there is a reason your heart cannot yet fully see. What you see as abandonment, God sees as deliverance. What you feel as loneliness, God sees as space for healing. What you interpret as failure, God sees as transition. Let yourself grieve if you need to. God is not offended by your tears. He is close to the broken-hearted. But do not confuse grieving with clinging. Do not build a home in a place God only allowed as a stop. You were not meant to stay there. You were meant to learn, grow, and move forward. This is also a moment of self-discovery. When people leave, God often reveals parts of you that were hidden under attachment. You begin to see how strong you actually are. You learn what you truly need, what you will no longer tolerate, and what kind of love reflects God's heart. Removal refines discernment. It teaches you the difference between attachment and alignment. God may also be removing someone because He is working on them separately. Distance does not always mean forever, but it always means obey. If God wants restoration, He will orchestrate it in peace, not confusion. In growth, not pain. In truth, not illusion. Do not rush God's process by forcing outcomes that He is still shaping. Right now, your responsibility is simple but not easy: trust. Trust that God knows what He is doing even when it hurts. Trust that silence does not mean absence. Trust that letting go is sometimes the greatest act of faith. You are not losing something meant for you. What is meant for you cannot miss you. What God removes cannot take away what He has already written into your destiny. One day, you will look back and thank God for what did not work out. You will see how protected you were, how guided you were, how loved you were even when it felt otherwise. Your future self will recognize this moment as a turning point, not a tragedy. So don't ignore this. Don't numb it. Don't resist it. Sit with God. Talk to Him honestly. Ask Him to heal what hurts and strengthen what remains. Let Him replace what is leaving with deeper peace, clearer purpose, and stronger faith. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. Take a deep breath, because what you are experiencing right now is a sacred pause, not an ending. God is not just removing people, He is also recalibrating your heart. When attachments break, it exposes places where you leaned on humans more than Him. This is not said to shame you. It is said to free you. God wants to be your source, not just your support. When He removes someone, He is often inviting you to come closer, to listen more deeply, to depend more fully on His voice instead of the reassurance of others. You may feel moments of emptiness, like something familiar is missing. But emptiness is not always loss, sometimes it is room. God cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. He cannot bring new relationships, new opportunities, and new peace into a heart that is overcrowded with old attachments, unanswered questions, and emotional clutter. What feels uncomfortable now is actually expansion happening within you. You might replay memories in your mind, wondering where things changed. You may question conversations, analyze words, and search for closure that never came. But hear this gently, not every ending comes with an explanation. Sometimes God ends things silently because He knows explanations would only keep you tied emotionally to what He is removing. Closure does not always come from understanding what happened, sometimes it comes from trusting who is in control. There are people God removes because they only knew how to connect with your brokenness, not your healing. When you were vulnerable, unsure, or seeking approval, they felt safe. But now that God is strengthening you, calling you higher, and teaching you your worth, their role no longer fits. Growth can feel lonely at first because not everyone recognizes the new you. But this loneliness will not last. God never isolates without intention. Be careful not to romanticize what God exposed. If someone consistently made you question your value, your faith, or your peace, then losing them is not losing love. Love brings clarity, not confusion. Love reflects God, not fear. If the connection pulled you away from prayer, self-respect, or inner peace, then God stepping in was mercy, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Right now, obedience looks like release. It looks like not texting when you want to. It looks like not revisiting places God helped you leave. It looks like choosing peace over familiarity. These small acts of obedience matter more than you realize. Each time you choose not to reopen a door God closed, you strengthen your spiritual discernment. God is also teaching you timing. Some relationships ended because you were early, and some ended because you stayed too long. But nothing was wasted. Every interaction shaped you, refined you, and taught you what to look for and what to avoid. Even the pain had purpose. Even the disappointment carried wisdom. You may worry about being forgotten or replaced. But God does not measure your worth by who stays or who leaves. Your value is constant because it comes from Him. People leaving does not mean you are disposable. It means God is removing distractions so you can finally see yourself the way He sees you. Remember this: God never removes without replacing, but replacement does not always look immediate. Sometimes the replacement is peace before it is people. Sometimes it is clarity before connection. Sometimes it is strength before companionship. Trust the order of God. He knows what you need and when you need it. If someone left your life abruptly, without apology or explanation, do not chase answers. God allowed the silence to speak louder than words ever could. Absence can reveal intentions more clearly than presence. Let that truth settle instead of reopening wounds. This season is shaping your discernment. You are learning who listens, who shows up, who respects your boundaries, and who honors your growth. These lessons will protect your future. The next connections you form will feel different. They will not require you to beg, prove, or perform. They will meet you where you are, not where you used to be. God knows how deeply you love. He knows how loyal you are. And that is exactly why He is intervening. Not everyone deserves access to a heart like yours. Not everyone knows how to treat what you carry. God is guarding you, even when it feels like loss. Stay soft, but stay wise. Do not allow pain to harden you or fear to isolate you. Let God heal you without rushing the process. Healing is not linear, and God is patient with every step. This is not the end of your story. This is alignment. This is God preparing you for relationships that reflect His love, not challenge your worth. What is leaving now is making room for something far greater. There is something important God wants you to understand in this moment. You are not behind, and you have not missed anything meant for you. When people are removed, the enemy often whispers lies, telling you that you waited too long, trusted too much, or loved too deeply. But God says your heart was not a mistake. Your love was not wasted. Your faith was not foolish. Everything you gave was seen, recorded, and honored. What feels like delay is actually divine timing unfolding. God had to separate you from certain voices before He could speak clearly to you. Some people were influencing your decisions, shaping your expectations, or reinforcing fears God was trying to heal. Their removal is creating clarity. Slowly, you may notice your thoughts becoming calmer, your prayers more honest, and your spirit less heavy. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. You may be in a phase where you question your own judgment. You might wonder how you allowed certain people to stay as long as they did. Be gentle with yourself. You loved with the information you had at the time. God does not condemn you for that. Instead, He is sharpening your discernment. What you tolerated before, you will recognize immediately next time. That is growth, not regret. God is also teaching you to sit with Him without distractions. When there is no one to call, no one to lean on emotionally, you begin to hear God's voice more clearly. In the quiet, He speaks reassurance. In the stillness, He heals wounds you didn't even know were there. This season may feel lonely, but it is deeply intimate. God is drawing closer in ways you may have never experienced before. Do not confuse separation with abandonment. God never leaves you uncovered. Even now, He is sending protection ahead of you. He is closing doors you would have struggled to close yourself. He is shielding you from betrayal, unnecessary pain, and cycles that would have delayed your purpose. What you can't see yet is how many battles you will never have to fight because of this removal. Sometimes God removes people to break generational patterns. You may have been repeating the same type of relationship, the same emotional dynamic, the same ending over and over again. God says it stops here. This time, He intervened before it destroyed your peace or distorted your identity. This removal is not just about now, it's about your future and the legacy you are building. There may be moments when you feel tempted to settle, to reconnect with people simply because you fear being alone. Resist that urge. Loneliness is temporary, misalignment is costly. God is teaching you to be complete in Him so that future connections add joy instead of filling wounds. Wholeness attracts health. Pay attention to how your body and spirit respond now that certain people are gone. Sometimes the greatest confirmation comes from peace returning, sleep improving, anxiety easing, and clarity strengthening. These are signs God made the right move on your behalf, even if your emotions are still catching up. You are also being prepared to recognize real love when it arrives. Real love does not rush you, confuse you, or make you feel unsafe. Real love reflects patience, consistency, and respect. God is rewriting your understanding of connection so you no longer confuse intensity with intimacy or attachment with purpose. If someone tries to return without change, without accountability, without growth, remember why God removed them in the first place. Not every return is restoration. Some are tests. Some are reminders of how far you've come. Ask God for discernment before reopening any door. This season is not about proving anything to anyone. It's about becoming rooted. Deeply rooted in truth, self-worth, and faith. When you are rooted, you are not easily shaken by who stays or leaves. You understand that your life is guided, not random. Hold on to this truth: God is gentle, but He is also precise. Every person removed, every door closed, every silence allowed has purpose woven into it. You are not being pushed backward, you are being positioned forward. You are closer to peace than you think. You are closer to clarity than you feel. And you are closer to the life God promised than you can imagine right now. Now let this settle deep into your spirit, because this is the part God wants to seal in your heart. What He is doing right now is not random, and it is not cruel. It is precise, intentional, and guided by a love that sees beyond your present emotions. God is not removing people to leave you empty. He is removing them to return you to yourself, to Him, and to the life you were always meant to live. There will come a day when the pain attached to this season no longer stings. You will remember the people who left, but the ache will be gone. In its place will be understanding. You will realize how much you were carrying, how much you were excusing, and how much of yourself you were giving away just to keep certain connections alive. That realization will not bring bitterness, it will bring peace. God is teaching you a new way to love, without losing yourself. A way to care deeply without compromising your values. A way to be present without being consumed. These lessons could only be learned through release. Had those people stayed, you might never have recognized your own strength, your own worth, or your own voice. What you are walking through now is a narrowing of focus. God is stripping away distractions so you can see clearly. Hear clearly. Choose wisely. The noise is reducing because your direction is becoming more defined. You no longer need everyone's approval, attention, or validation. You are learning to be anchored, not dependent. There is also restoration happening quietly within you. God is rebuilding your confidence piece by piece. He is healing the parts of you that questioned whether you were too much or not enough. He is reminding you that you were never created to be abandoned, you were created to be chosen, cherished, and protected. And He is doing exactly that, even now. You may notice that your standards are changing. What once seemed acceptable now feels heavy. What once felt normal now feels misaligned. This is not pride, this is growth. God is recalibrating your heart to match the level of peace He wants you to live with. You will no longer settle for half love, half effort, or half truths. Trust that the people meant to walk with you into the next season will not require you to diminish yourself. They will meet you in honesty, maturity, and faith. They will not compete with your peace or question your worth. They will complement the work God has already done within you. Even now, God is arranging divine connections, people who will recognize your value without you explaining it, who will respect your boundaries without resistance, and who will grow with you rather than hold you back. But these connections require space. And that space is being made through separation. Do not rush this season. Let God complete what He started. Every time you choose faith over fear, release over resistance, trust over control, you are aligning yourself with what heaven has planned. You are stepping into a life that is lighter, freer, and more intentional. If your heart still feels tender, that's okay. Tender does not mean weak. It means you are still open, still capable of love, still willing to hope. God will protect that tenderness. He always does. One day soon, you will wake up and realize you are no longer waiting for anyone who left. You will be fully present in your life, grounded in peace, and secure in who you are becoming. And in that moment, you will understand, God did not remove them to hurt you. He removed them to heal you. So don't ignore this. Don't fight it. Don't run back to what God has already freed you from. Walk forward in trust. Walk forward in faith. Walk forward knowing that what is ahead of you is far greater than what was left behind. You are not alone. You are guided. You are protected. And you are deeply loved.